moment, I'm just connecting it to YouTube so that you can see the recordings. I think it's all set. Yeah. Okay, so Debashish had the question like asking for how to have the feather. So feather is Debashish, there are two ways. One I didn't share so far. One is you select the points where you want to have a feather. It can be one, it can be multiple. All right, it can be everywhere also. You just drag the line, and you see when you drag it expands. It doesn't move to one direction, it expands. All right, and this is how you have feather. If you want to see, you see there is a softness there. If I select all of them, let's select all of them, and if I drag now, it will be moving towards one direction. Now if I want to drag these side points, I'll select them and move it. You see, this is the feather. Now you don't want a feather, you select all of the points, right click and say reset. Now reset is happened because these 3 points are selected. See, these are white points which are selected right now. So when you say reset, it's happening for the points which is reset selected. So I'll select all of the points first. All right, is it clear to Devashish? The feather part. Anyone has any question? One second. How many participants are there? Okay. What about Rochelle, Gokul, Emmanuel, Abdul, Sucheta? I'm not receiving any messages from you people. Huh? Okay. No questions. All right. So hope you understood, Devashish. But let's say if you want to give a feather to it, not custom feather. This is of course custom feather. Okay, cool. So when you have to give a custom feather, what you can do, you can go to F3 again. So you come back to the panel and you select the shot and see, I'll hit A again. So this is the shape what we created and how to have feather. But I will not ask you to add feather first. I will expect you to have motion blur first. But let's say if you want to know the feather, like how we do in mask feather is there in After Effects, how we do it in Silhouette. So we have this shape. I will hide it. You see, it's a pretty sharp shape because as we have a sharp shape, of course it's rounded, but the pixels are sharp on the edges. We have a feather which is called blur. The more you add, see it is too much. I added directly 19 or something. See what's happening here. See that this is the blur. Okay, so I will go low value. I'll just reduce the value, maybe around 10. And you can see it's blur everywhere. All right. Now, if I move this value, it moves like too much, correct? But if I hold down control key, it will, go one after the other point. You see 30, 29.76 like that. So holding control will not move it drastically. Okay, it will just go in points. See? But if you don't hold control, then it will move. So hope you understood the control thing, like holding control key and changing the values will change in small increments, but without holding, it will move like anything. Okay. Then another is blur type. So blur type is centered or inside. So when I add blur inside, it goes inside actually. You see, it will not expand. It will start shrinking inside. By default, it is center, means both sides. And outer is, it will not do anything inside, it will just expand. But you see, there will be a sharp shape. So there are three ways, depends on shots completely. In this shot, we don't want any feather. What we want basically is, I will add this as finger tip. Okay, what we want is motion blur, that's it. And we will continue doing it, and then we will adjust the shape according to that. So we have started with this shape. Now how to move it? uh, 1 second. Are there any questions so far regarding blur, feather, resetting a feather, and naming the layer, I mean naming the objects? Guys, be interactive so that I know what's the status of you understanding the topic. 225, okay. Two people said no, so that's okay. All right. Okay, so I'll go further. Now, before you start the rotoscopy, what you do is you select the shape, right click, and there will be an option which is called as tag. Okay. Now, maybe you don't see there is something happened. Let me show it again. You select the points, right click, and say tag. All right. What you have to do? Say tag. So when you do tag, can you tell me what happened? Debashi says numbers came. So can anyone tell me why these numbers are helpful to us? How this can be helpful for us? Like I agree, the numbers came. There are numbers like 21, 22, 23, 1, 2, 3, 4. How you started the shape? How it can be helpful for us? Why these numbers are there? I'm giving some time to answer it. Or those of you who don't have answer can say no also. But those of you who have answer, at least type a bit. I'll try to understand. Don't write a long sentence to get the sequence of points. Yes, that is one thing. Is there anything else? Okay, so I'll show you once again how we got to have the points, and how we are to control number of points reduce completely. To control number of points reduce completely. Complexity. Yes, yes, yes. To control number of points. Yes, to reduce complexity. Correct. So how to reduce the complexity while having these points? See, I'll share this part which is not there in After Effects and why it is important here. I mean, it's important here, but there is no such feature. Hopefully, they will do it something in future versions. What is here? How to get the points? First of all, have a look. If I select all, if I right click somewhere outside and say tag, it will go off. But if I right click on a point, then it will add a tag to only specific point. So right clicking is also important. When I right click over there and say tag, okay, then you see I have to go again tag, selecting this point and say tag, then only the points will come up. So what we have to do to have the tags for all, I have to right click outside, remove that and enable it again. And then you will see all the points. All right. So this is the way of to getting points. Now, how you know that, you know, these points are there. So first of all, I know in my shape, it is 24 points. Okay. And this should be in this sequence, which is what Debashish was saying. It should not be like this, correct? Like 12, 14, 13. So I know there are no such points which are, crisscrossing to each other, or they are changing its sequence. Second is there is one more important thing, that while rotoscopy, you should remember that if suppose 9 number point is there, it should continue over there only. Okay. Suppose 4 point is on that bump, it should be there itself. If one is in this corner, of the point, it should be there all the time. If 22 and 21 are together this much close to each other, they should almost remain here. Okay, means closeness should be here, but they have to stick to this surface all the time. That is how we understand the points. So it should not be like 15 number of point is there, but after some frame, or let's go back, after some frame this 15 number point is there somewhere. Okay, so which cause jitters in your rotoscopy, which cause inconsistency in your rotoscopy. So that should not be there. So two things has to be done. One is having the points. Second is having B spline, and third is adding motion blur. All right. So hope I'm clear with this. Add motion blur. So you see this is a motion blur switch. You click on that, you will get the motion blur, and that is, and then you can start. Now how to start? What I will do, I will just go and see the movement. Okay, I will not go frame by frame again, as ma'am also shared this thing that never go frame by frame, go with keyframes. Which are the keyframes? So if you see this finger moved left and slightly down, left and slightly down, even too much, and then it's going towards right side. Okay, and then more right. So I will go to this frame, move the entire shape, but moving entire shape is also always difficult if you do like this. Okay, how to do that? You have few shortcuts. All right, so let's talk about the shortcuts now, because what I'm doing right now, I'm selecting one shape and then drawing a rectangle which selects all the points, and then I move by selecting one point. But this is not just the only way how we can move the points. There are shortcuts. Let me show you with the notepad. So make sure you everyone note it down. Okay, there are shortcuts like Q, W, E, R, T. All right. Now I will share what is what. So if you see these shortcuts, where are these tools basically? So these tools are here. Okay, you can see T is for transform, but without control. It's like Photoshop, but T is for transform. Okay, hope I'm clear with this. Now what is QWE? If I hit Q by pressing T and Q, if you see this arrow comes up like with horizontal and vertical arrow, which is called a crosshair. So you can move the shape. First you go to T for transform, and you go to move the shape. Okay, if you hit T again, you will see it will move with magnet. All right, the magnet is different. I will explain it here. So magnet I will explain in a while, but let's talk about the moving shape. How to do that? First you go to T and then Q, and you can move the shape from anywhere. Okay, T and Q. T for transform, Q for move. And then let's say I feel that this shape should be rotated, even though it's not required. But if you want it to be rotated, what you do is you do W, W and rotate. You see that? So you can rotate. Then Q to move. Now Q, W is done. Oops. Oh my God. Okay, that's my mistake. Sorry, it's not your one. It's not your problem. It's my mistake. Sorry. Actually, that Zoom was locked up. So now it's refreshed. So hope you can see the screen now. Hope you can see the screen now. Is it visible to everyone now? Yeah. So what I was talking about, let me start again. Oh my God, that's crazy. So we have the shape now, all right? And I was sharing the shortcuts. So where is the T? T is here. Okay, the transform. So when we go to transform, it allows you to transform, but it's in transform window, but we don't do the transform like this. What we do is we hit the Q key, and Q will allow you to move the shape. Okay, so Q is for moving. Then what's W? W is for this rotation. All right. So if I hit W, I will get this anchor point and I can rotate. All right. An anchor point comes where you hit the W. So let's say if I hit W here, you see it comes there, and then I can rotate from that angle. If I hit W there, you see it comes there now. It will rotate like this. So this is for W, Q is for move, W is for rotate, and E is for scale. So it should not be scaled anyhow, but I am showing you the shortcuts. So T, Q, W, E, all right, are the shortcuts. So let's go back to the notepad and write this down. Q to move, W for rotate, E for scale, R for reshape. Reshape means manipulating the points, and T for transform. All right. So when you are done with this writing down the shortcut, just say yes. Okay. And also let me know if you didn't understand any of these shortcuts. Yeah, I will explain T. Anyone else who has the question? Reshape for Devashish. Anyone else? Two questions I've received so far, which is pretty good. So I will answer that. Okay, Gokul is also asking for reshape. Anyhow, I have not discussed reshape so far, but I will explain. The T is the one which I have shared. Okay, Abdul is also asking for transform. What about others like Emmanuel? I haven't received any answer for a question, any doubt from you. Sucheta also. Then who else is there? Then Rochelle also is there. Akshay also is there. Mohan. What about you people? It's okay if you were late. Okay. So now you asked the question. Let's go back then. I hope you have noted down this. You have written down all of these shortcuts. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just go back to. Okay. Cool. Superb. I'll just go back. So the question were like transform. So what happens when you're done with the when you're done with the shape now? What happens? You are by default in reshape mode. Okay. Even if you don't look at it, you will come to know you are actually manipulating the points. Manipulating the points means you are in reshape tool. If you select all of them, you can move the entire shape. But if you select few of them, then you can move those points. If you select these shapes, this can be moved. So this is nothing but a reshape tool. Okay. Reshape is also have magnet, which I will show after some time. But you hit the R one time, and this is a reshape. But if you hit the R again, then you will see it changed to magnet. Okay. Hope you can see that arrow to magnet. Magnet is something where the weight is there now, it will move more. You see, it's actually meant for managing the perspective of the finger. Okay. Or any object, it actually helps you to move the perspective. So suppose if you're moving this point, the points which is further away will move very slow. You see that? But if I'm not on magnet, all will move at the same pace. So this is magnet, and this one is reshape. Okay. So hope you understood the magnet and reshape. Both are having same shortcut R. Reshape and reshape with magnet. What it says, let's see. It says reshape only, but I will say the magnet one is reshape with magnet. Okay. So where the weight is there, which the point which you are pulling will move quickly. It's like a chain. If it is a chain on the ground, if you pick only one buckle of it and you lift it up, other points will move slowly and follow them together. Like that it happens. So am I clear with the reshape first? Is it all clear to reshape this reshape thing? Okay, okay, fine. So reshape is done. Let's move to the next question. The next question was to transform. So let's say if you want to transform, if you hit the T key, all right, what happens is you come out of reshape, you hit the T key for transform. So you select the shape and T key you hit, you see you get the transform control. Now transform is there where you allow you, it can allow you to scale, but there is direct scale as well. And there is, if you hold down control, there is direct rotation also is there. Okay. But if you don't want to rotate from the center, you see, if I hold down control, I can rotate directly from the center. And there is a scale as well. If I scale, it can scale from the center. Correct. And then if I have to move, I can move from the top and it can move as well. But what if I want to specifically go to one property, maybe just a scale, or maybe just a rotation, or maybe just a translate? For translating, then we have a shortcut. After you hit T, you can hit the Q key. The Q key, whether you go to corner, any corner, doesn't matter, whether you hold control or not, it will just move the shape. Okay, that is Q. Then W is when you have the custom rotation. Custom rotation, how you can have, suppose you hit the W here, then rotation, the anchor point is there and you can rotate. Okay. Then same goes to W over there. It will come back, and if you hit W again, then see there is a rotation. Now it will rotate from their side. So this is how rotation works. Then E is for scale. When you hit E, it will get the anchor point and scale from there. But if you want exactly the center point of the shape, then you can go to T, and that way you can scale it up. You see, it's a scaling. Holding control anywhere, it will rotate. And then you go any of these points, any of this line, okay, it will allow you to move directly. Is that clear? All these shortcuts, Q, W, A, and T? Okay. Okay. Cool. So I got 3 yeses. Right. Okay. One more question I have is, how many of you have seen this footage on your reference folder and imported it and tried to work onto it on Silhouette? If you didn't do anything, say no. Simple as that. No problem with it. How many of you have downloaded this footage from the reference folder and importing it into a Silhouette and started working onto it? Okay. So Mohan said no. Abdul tried. Very good. Rushil also tried. Superb. Akshay also tried. Mohan downloaded the footage. Gokul has also downloaded the footage. Akshay tried it. Superb. So no problem. Those of you, okay, Pavan also downloaded, but not work. No problem. So anyhow, we are going to start the task today, okay, of rotoscoping, just the tip. And that's what I will put it for you. Okay, I will not put too many things for you. Maybe I will ask the entire finger by showing the rotoscopy of this thing. Okay, but nothing extra as such. And you know, it's only 11, 12 frames. So you guys can do it. Okay, just bear in mind. All right, so let's start with the rotoscopy now. So I will go with the previous frame first. It's X and Z. So Z is for previous frame. So I figured out 58 frame is the one which I made it. And where this blur is coming from. So let's check the blur is 0. That means let's check why this extra we are getting in. Okay, so we have shrink and grow also is there. Okay, so we have grown this by 2 pixel and it's highlighting here. So I will reset it and now it's pretty fine. So you have to check this setting more or less, except opacity, everything is on 0 is the default setting. So you can easily figure out why this shape is out of the outline. Okay, because I didn't make it like that way. So while changing the settings, maybe I accidentally moved the shrink and grow. Shrink and grow is like mask expansion. It reduces or increases. And if you want to reduce or increase in small increments, hold down the control key. All right. So this way you can do that. But anyhow, I don't want any shrink and grow, so I can click on that. So that's it. Now I will move this shape. So what I prefer to do for rotoscopy, once I'm done with the splitting shape, let's hide the overlay. What I do is I don't modify any points. Okay, what I do is I just move the shape according to it. So I see that third number frame is there. How I will move it. Now you can see these points has to be modified, but not the bottom points too much. Okay, slightly maybe left. I will quickly enable the motion blur. That is very, very important, and then continue working onto it. So I know this shape is covering more or less the finger, so I will not do any changes so far. I will just focus on translate movements. So now I see this moves here. I will hit the Q key and move the shape according to that. And remember, I don't have this thing points which I cannot see right now because I'm working on translate, so I cannot see it. So that's why what I do is I just work on moving the shape first, just translate of X and Y. I don't work on points. So I move the shape, then I will go further and I see it's swapping. You see it goes 1 2 3 and it goes fast. So I will go to this frame and move it. I am just focusing on this part, matching the tip to tip. That's it. I'm not wondering about why this shape is going outside. I'm just focusing this. It will start following the finger. That's my main thing. 1 2 3. So it's going more or less right, and then it goes fast. So before it reaches the fast speed, how I am wondering that it is fast because the motion blur is increasing. So this is the last frame before it reaches the high speed. I will match the tip to tip again, and then I will go further, and you see it's quite fast now. 1 2 3. I'll go again there, tip to tip. 1 2. I'll match the tip, and you see we are done. We don't have to do rotoscopy. After that we can hide the opacity. Now I have to just focus where is that finger anymore. So I will go till last frame. There is no finger. Then I will go back and see if there is more motion for rotoscopy or not. All right. So yes, there it is. So these are the frames which are remaining. Let's continue with it. 1 2 3. So what I'm noticing is the motion. If it is going, suppose, look at my mouse pointer. If my mouse pointer is going like this and that, okay, just see it straight away, like it is going this and then that. So what I will do, I will first do the translate of this point to this point first, and then this point to this point. Okay, so A to B and B to C, doesn't matter, there are 100 frames in this motion. I will see A to B, it's reaching between 1 to 70. So I will keyframe first and then the 70 because it's moving in one particular direction. Okay, and then I see it's moving up between 70 to 100. So I already have the 70th frame. I will go to 100th frame and move the position accordingly. Okay, I will work on 1 to 70 in between frames later. First, I will do the major keyframe motion. So that's what I'm doing. So I've done already 58. I see it's going back 1 2 3 4 5. So it's more or less going with the same speed. I will just go here. Now I cannot, even if I'm matching tip to tip, you see this not matching at all. So this case I will use W for rotation because this is my main anchor point, and then rotate. Okay, and it's just a rough rotoscope I am trying to do. I know there are not good frames, but I'm just trying to finish the roto first. So this is done, and then I know this finger is over there, so I will move this frame, and this time I matched the right side. So what I will do, I will hit the rotation over there now, W rotation, and match the tip. That's the way I will do it. And then if I go to Q and continue moving forward, now it doesn't require anymore. All right. So this way I have done these 12 frames. Am I clear with this much of rotoscopy? Or is there any shortcut which you didn't know, or is there anything which I was not clear? Just let me know before I move to the next step. The first step is to do the basic keyframes without even manipulating any point. Am I clear? Okay. Two people said yes. Three, four. Akshay, Rochelle, Sucheta, Mohan. All right, all right. So I guess it's more or less fine. Let's have a quick round of one more vote. Vote, vote, vote. Okay. Let's have vote one more. Okay. I will rather put you not in diplomatic situation. I just want to straightforward. I this time I will not give any option like gray. I put black or white. Okay. So maybe you will feel awkward, but the options which I've given is very specific. Like either it should be yes or no. Like that I put. Let's do the quick round of one more voting for 1 minute, and then I will continue. There are three more people who are yet to vote. Okay, guys, 15 seconds left, and two more people are sorry, one more people, one more person is remaining. And remember, if it is difficult, also there is no problem with it. You guys are starting with it. It can be tough also. I just put like gray, no gray at all. I thought of putting third option. Now I'm just sharing the result. So more or less, I've received 8 votes. With that, everyone said easy. Maybe you would like to say average, but I didn't put it. I want either it should be yes or no. If it is no, I will try to clear it. If it is yes, then it should be super yes. Okay. Of course, more things will come with the practice. So I will quickly share the steps on Notepad, and then I will continue with this. What I did so far. Notepad. What we did so far is after importing a shot, let's say you have imported the shot already and you know it's 4K. Remember, the shot should be around 1920 by 1080 minimum. Okay. And least compression. Okay. It's not just all about it's not just all about the resolution. There is compression also. People, I have seen a lot of wonder footages where the footage is 2K but pixelated. So remember to import the shot, even though you see while downloading a shot that it's 1920 by 1080, import the shot into silhouette and then zoom in deeply in silhouette and check edges. Don't check the in between, check the edges. Are they fine or not? Okay, if they are not fine, then you can, take any other shot. If they are, you can show it to me also. If you have any doubt, share the link to me. I will check it. But make sure not to, do all your effort into a bad shot where you can't define the edges. It is too pixelated. So that won't be nice at all. So I will suggest you to not to have any kind of footage which is pixelated. So hope I'm clear with this one. Okay, with least compression or no compression. All right. And 1920 I've written is minimum. 1920 I've written is minimum. Then it can be a 2K footage or 4K. All right, that is one thing. Now second is, when you are done with checking, you know this shot is pretty good. It carries 100 to 200 frames and it has a very good quality. All right, 100 to 200 frames, and it has a good quality. It has good motion blur. It has good fine details. Fine details is like, can be hair, okay, or stands, anything it can be. So if it is there, then this shot will be superb for your work. And then what's next? When these are like checklist, when you are done with this, when you know that okay, these are the things are there, then I can go forward for rotoscopy. Now in Silhouette, what I've done so far, you import a shot. Okay, importing a shot. Okay, add roto node. Sorry, add roto node to it. Draw a shape. Okay, now draw a shape is where sharp frame of that particular object. Okay, it can be a finger, it can be a hand itself, it can be a head itself. Okay, whatever it is, go to a frame where it is sharp and you can see all the part of it. Okay, suppose a guy is coming, it's entering into the room, so you cannot roto him until he enters the room because camera is placed inside the room. So when he enters completely, then you will start the rotoscopy, correct? So that way I'm saying that until you see the entire shape, don't do the rotoscopy. First you see the entire rotoscopy. Let's say if there is a movement where the hand is, the hand is open, you can see all of the fingers and slowly is making a fist. Okay, all fingers are closed as a fist. Then if it is a fist and you start rotoscoping and later you realize, oh my God, after some frames, he is opening his fist and I can see all the fingers individually. So the frame which is better to rotoscope is where the hand is showing all the fingers rather than as a fist. Fist is nothing like just you make the outline quickly like a box. But when it is open as a finger, you have to draw more shapes. So where you can have maximum number of points, start with that frame. Okay, so that is one thing. Second is it should be sharp. So sharp frame of that particular object. Okay, split wisely. Split wisely means split your shapes wisely. Like how am I doing? I can even divide, sorry, I can have this finger in one shape also, but I realize that it's rotating individually. There is a rotation happening in the finger. So there is a different motion between the joint part to the end part, the tip part of the finger. So I'm rotoscoping separately rather than one as a individual whole shape. Okay. So split your shapes wisely. More is better, less is not okay. I'm talking about the shape, not the points. Points are less are okay. Average is always good, but not more. The more points are there in your shapes, the hardest it will be to handle the shapes. All right. So don't add too many points, but don't have least number of points. So later you struggle to manage the rotoscopy. So split your shapes wisely. Now you have drawn the shape, you have split your shapes wisely. Then what you will do, you will right click on the shape and right click on the shape and tag it to see the numbers on the shape, right? So right click on the shape and tag it to see the numbers on the shape. The numbering will help you that which point is located at what place of the object. In our case, it's a fingertip. So I added, like, if you remember, 19 and 20 is on the joint part below. I remember till now. But if you just see it, you will not remember it. But you know that I have tagged these points. Now you remember it. Okay. So right click on the shape and tag it to see the numbers on the shape. Then another thing is in shape layer, the object list, in the object list, there are shape, correct? So those objects, make sure instead of object, I will say that shape, whether it can be a B spline or a Bezier, but you have to take B spline for organic shapes. So object list, you go to shape, okay, and activate motion blur. All right, so when you're done with activating motion blur, start rotoscopy. How you will start the rotoscopy now? You will do one way, that is you select the shape and do the translate motion to the shape. So when you do the translate motion to the shape means how it is moving from one shape, one point to another point. You will not bother about the shape is morphing, distorting, squeezing, stretching, squashing, what's happening. No, nothing else. You will just focus, okay, how it is moving in the entire screen space. Is it moving x to y, x, y together? Wherever it is moving, you will just move the direction of the shape. That's it, to follow it. That way you understand that how the shape is moving. All right, so am I clear with this? And it will be with you. Can we add point, Debashis, we can add points later here also, but I will not recommend to add the point after when you started the rotoscoping. Okay, I can accept that you can add points when you are done with the shape and then you realized, oh my, maybe these points are not enough for working on a shape. Can I add points? Of course you can add. I will show you how to add points. But when you are started with the rotoscopy already, maybe you're done 4 5 frames and then you add a point, then you have to go back to all those 4 5 frames and make sure that point is on the correct place. Hope I'm clear with this. Is there anyone has question? Make sure you note down these points. I will give you ample of time to write it out, and then we will move forward by solving this question of Debashish. Is asking to add point later. So I will show how to add point and delete points, but I will not recommend when you started the rotoscopy. Okay, before rotoscopy, you can add points, delete points, no problem. But when you started the rotoscopy, don't add points. Otherwise, you have to go back and see that point in every single shape. So am I clear to everyone? Okay, Pawan said yes. Devashi, yes. What about the people from top to bottom? Akshay said yes, Abdul yes, Suchita yes. Emmanuel, I've not received any feedback. Mohan received just now. Rest all said yes. Okay, cool. So don't worry if you missed any point. Okay, I'll share the recording. Let's copy it. Okay, you guys can save this link. It's on YouTube. Not right now, open it, but you can see it later. Otherwise, I think it will cause problem. For pixelation thing, it can happen. So all right, I'll go. So let's start with it. First, the question is of Devashish, that how to add points. So first you go to reshape tool. All right. Let's say you are in this point. If you hold down Alt key, you see, you hold down Alt key, you can add point. Simple as that. But you have to go to reshape tool first. When you go to reshape tool, let's say you realized this there should be one more point. You hold down the Alt key, you will see that there is a add point. All right. Oh, sorry, sorry. Oh my God, this now swapping screen is not helping us out. Okay, it gets freeze actually when I swap the screen. It should activate. Is it available now? Hope it is available right now. It's actually Zoom, it's lagging. Yeah, cool. So what you have to do, oh my God, you guys will be surprised what I'm talking about. There is no screen visible at all, showing us just the notepad and talking about it. Kind of funny. All right. So hold down the Alt key and click, and there where you add the points. Okay. So remember, if you are on T means transform, you won't be able to add points. Okay. So if you hold down Alt key, see nothing happens. It asks you to move the shape. But when you are reshape, hold down the Alt key, select, and that way you can add points. Select the point and hit the backspace. Can the points allow you to delete? Even you can right click also. Right click and then you can say delete. So there is the option to delete. And invert selection means in case if you selected these 2 points, but except these 2 points, you want to select all of the point, you can say invert selection. So except these two, it will select all of the points. All right. I will discuss with more of the options by of the right click, but not all together. It doesn't make sense. Speaking of all the options right now, whenever it is required, I'll explain. So am I clear with the adding points? What Devashish asked. Is that clear to you or everyone? If anyone has question how to add points, I'll not recommend as I am saying again and again, but this is the way to add points. Okay, okay, no doubts, cool. So I'll hit the T and see, more or less I've done the rotoscopy, right? In terms of translation, I know these frames doesn't look good. So instead of moving, remember there is one more major point in rotoscopy is try to move the entire shape as much as possible rather than moving individual points. See, to move this shape, there are two ways. One is if I select and hit the R to reshape, I can move the points individually, like selecting one, move it there, selecting second, move it there, selecting the third one, move it there. Means let's say 11 number point, move it there, 12 number point, move it there, 13 there. Okay, like that I can also do. It will take time, first of all. Second is it will draw the inconsistency. This shape will not follow the same curve like how it was before. So what is recommended? Hit the T key, hit the Q key, and move the entire shape. So whenever possible, move the entire shape rather than individual points to get the roto errors. Now you see here, I also see the points are not okay. I'll try to move it. Okay, and then I will go further. See, there is also inconsistency. I'll just try to put it in the center of the blur. I don't put it on the sharp edge. Don't put it on the smooth edge also. So let's go further. This also is not correct. I'll move it, put it this line more or less to the half of the blur. Okay, I may have to change the points, but not at right now. I'll just put it at the half. This way I'm continuing. This looks completely not okay. So I will hit W over there, which gives me the rotation anchor point there. And then I rotate. Q to move. And I'm telling you again and again, it's all require practice to get understand the to be habitual and adapt these new shortcuts in Silhouette. They are pretty much easy. They are all on left hand side. If you remember, Q, W, E, all are on left. R left side, T transform, R QWE is for move, rotate, and scale, same like Maya. Okay, same like Maya means first shortcut is for move, then rotate, and then scale. Instead of WER, it is QWE. That's it. Okay, R is because R is for reshape here. That's why. So QWERT, QWE, move, rotate, scale. R, reshape. T, transform. Then A, alpha, alpha overlay, and then RGB. Then what we have seen, ZXCV, Z for previous frame, X forward frame. All right. So like that, the shortcuts are there. And 1 and 4 for seeing this rotoscope. You see, it looks very odd. Okay, but we don't bother. We will just see the rotation because anyhow we are going to work on reshape part, and it doesn't make a problem for us that we are capturing the iPad screen, iPad bezel over here. It doesn't have any problem. The problem is when you are dealing with this area slightly further like this, then it's a problem. So even though I will correct this part as well, but I'm saying this is not a problematic area for us because we are going to replace a screen over here. So more or less I have done the translate job, and I can see some of frames are not so perfect. See, this is for point of reshaping, so I will not do it right now. Then let's say if I can do something with this, not pretty much, it requires reshaping. Okay, so I am done with this. So this will be the first version of rotoscopy, which I'm done with the translate. Anyhow, it is not first version for us because if you remember, I started the class with just explaining about silhouette. So I saved two version already, but right after this, I will save my first version. But you can save the version in between also. There is no harm. More version is better rather than no version. All right. Save project as, rename it to 3 and click on save project. All right, it says already it's there. Maybe third one is already there. Maybe I've saved it before closing the last class. So let's do with 4. Okay, that because this should be the latest one. Now it's saved properly. That means there is a fourth one, which is the latest version. Now I've done with this. Now the next part is to work on reshape. All right, so I will hit the reshape, R for reshape, and continue checking between 1 and 4. All right, everywhere. Remember, having a consistency. I have seen one more mistakes what beginners do with the rotoscopy is that when you are working with, let's say, this fingertip, I have seen you bring the inconsistency. Suppose I can see some part of green in the finger area, but what happens after that you realize why this green is there, and then you cut off too much, right? Never do like that. Suppose from first frame to 100 frame or 101 frame, if you have some part of green in all the frames is much better than in some part there is green and there in other parts it's not green. If you wanted no green at all, then make sure from 1 to 100 there should be no green at all. Okay. If you are introducing some sort of green on the edges, then make sure this should be consistent throughout all the frames. Okay, hope I'm clear with this. That this part, if there is some sort of green or there is some sort of background which is visible on the shape itself, make sure it is consistent throughout the entire rotoscopy. It's not changing here and there. So now we see, you see that this is the problem. There was a green and there is no green. This is what I'm talking about. So instead of me cutting out, what I will do, I will just select, and I can use the this arrow keys, okay, to move it. And then I will cross check between these two frames. Am I getting enough green or not? But here my objective is to not to get green. My objective is to get rid of the green. So what I'll do, I will just hit 1 and then select the points, select these points, these three basically, and use the arrow keys. Okay, arrow keys are this up, down, left, right. So it will move the point accordingly. Then I can see between these two. And for that purpose now, what we can do is we can hit the F3. So we can see the shape in full screen. All right. Sometimes you hit F3, it goes somewhere else. Then you can hit the F key to fit to screen and then you can zoom in. All right. So I will hit between 1 and 4 and you see we are missing a lot of pixels here, this pixel. So it should come somewhere around here. And since we already have the motion blur enabled, that means we have to have these pixels. So I will select first the left side pixel. I'll not select this one. Okay. So I'll select only these three. Use the arrow keys, or you can move it by your mouse as well. All right. So that's not a problem. Then this one also. And check only this part. Is that okay or not? Okay. Does this look okay? So I can see by zooming in that if I am missing some sort of pixel here, I'll just try to drag it, okay, to have a roundness, and then I can see some green edge which can be removed in compositing, but this time I will have more of a skin tone. All right, so this is slightly of that is okay. okay, but not should be too much, like this much, okay. And then I will try to reduce it and keep on checking 1 and 4, 1 and 4, like that. I'll move this part as well. So we are seeing we are removing some sort of green, and then the 7, 6, 5, we can together move them. You can take a help, as I said. I'm just looking at the edges, so I believe I'm missing some sort of pixel here, so I'll go with up. Yeah, this is better. And then I will move slightly down. All right, so okay, look at this. This is brought up by the iPad. So I need to have these points slightly close to the fingertip. This is done. And this one also. This one slightly 1 pixel, like using up arrow key. Then this one also. So I know it's more of tedious job, but this is what rotoscopy is all about. It takes time to, you see, we are working on just the fingertip. It might look easy, but this itself is taking time. So if I reset now, this settings of gain, this is what we have rotoscoped so far. And if you can ask me about this blur, so we can add it later by using blur settings. I have already motion blur activated. Let's check it's working or not. Hit the F key. Let's move this panel. So we have motion blur activated. That's superb. So that means I can continue my work. Okay. So in terms of missing this pixel, there are two ways. One, you can add feather, all right, into these points, and one is you can move the point itself. But if I move the point itself, what happens is it will bring the 100% opacity, all right, and motion blur is not taking care of all this. So in that case, what I'll do, I will select these 3 4 points and drag their points. Okay, this one here, this one somewhat there, and selecting this point, this one slightly over there, like putting this dotted line, which is of a feather line, to the last edge of the motion blur. Okay, so remember, I'm not working on these many points. I'm just working on tip part first, and then later I will see this part as well. So now I can see some sort of pixel are taken, but not completely. You see, still I'm losing a lot of pixels. So I will select these 2 points, 1 and 2, and drag this even further. This one as well. This one as well. Okay, so we are having decent amount of edge smooth, and if we check, yeah, see, it's superb. The line is matching pretty much with the outline of the gain and gamma, so that's going superb. Now what else we have to do? There is also, I feel there is some pixel we are missing, so I'll just take it up. Okay, feel free to ask question in between. Bottom, it's more or less pretty much fine. Yeah, there is a problem. I can see that. Yeah, fine. Now, how to deal with this green? We will remove it by despilling it, but this is the part which I am done. Same thing I have to repeat, on all the frames. Like not here it doesn't require much because it's on iPad, but I have to deal with these points further over there. Okay. And this process I will continue in all the frames. Only on the tip part first. I'll fix the tip part. If tip part is okay, then I will work on this, let's say this base part of the finger, then the top part of the finger, then right side I will also. And this way I will clear all those 11 and 12 frames. So am I clear with this? Is there any question which you didn't understand, sir? How will I do the rotoscopy of this? Is there any particular thing which you want me to repeat, or you want to know more of this, doing more frames? How what you would like to do? Because that's pretty much it. Now I have to just repeat the same process in every single frame. That's all. There is nothing new so far to teach you in terms of rotoscopy for today. So you want me to repeat more frames? You have any questions, or you didn't understand? Because this is the exercise which I'm going to do now. All right, for today and tomorrow. And I'm not sure Monday you have class with me or not. But if it is not there, so do one more frame. Okay, I'll do that. Anyone else who has more questions which can be sorted out before I start with the next frame? Because you guys have to do this exercise, remember. Don't say me after that you didn't understand, net was a problem or this and that. What about other people? Akshay said no. Devashish also said no. Pavan is asking for one more frame, which I'm going to do now. But what about others? No, that the blur which is given to you, are you asking? Yeah, I will do Naveen one more frame. Akshay, if I'm not wrong, you're asking in the frame, in the edge, we have to do manually every frame what we do in the beginning. Are you talking about the blur thing, or you are talking about the rotoscopy itself? No question from Mohan. No doubts from Rochelle. Blur, yeah. So see, blur is inconsistent. First of all, what we do is, there is one way which I'm showing right now, Akshay, is manually adjusting blur, all right, by moving these points. Another way is we adjust the settings of motion blur, or either we do apply blur everywhere, okay, uniformly. So there are many ways of doing it. This is one of the way. Okay, there are many ways to control, but this is for this exercises I'm showing. Try to do this way. I'll show you more ways of controlling motion blur. All right, but this is one of the ways. So which frame I did, let's go to the frame which I did. Yeah, this one. All right, so I'll go to second frame now. Now second frame, again what you have to do is, how you start, you just check between 1 and 4 and see which pixel you feel it's related to finger which is missing. All right, so I can see easily, I can see there is one frame which is completely sorry, these pixel, this information is completely missing, right? So 1 and 4 will help you to get to know what pixel you are missing in. And speaking of adding blur, again, as I said, there is a uniform blur you can apply everywhere. That is another technique, but we are not learning that today. So I know these are the part which are left. So I'll take it up, this part also. Okay, remember when dealing with this part, because it can introduce some black edge if I remove if I move too much, you see. So that should not be done. You have to be consistent with the blur. We should not have the black uh, edge of the motion blur, because this will happen when your background is dark and your foreground is light. So you see, this is also while dragging because there is a background which is dark. So I'll draw with a decent amount. Even though if I'm missing this part of blur, because you so far you don't know the compositing. So there is a term which we will use which get rid of this black pixel, even though if you are taking this way. Okay, even if you are taking this way, it will remove this black edge. So that technique we will learn, then I will show you in Nuke how to remove those kind of blur. So far what you do is to keep the pixel where there is no dark edge. All right. This way also you try to drag it by pressing 1 and 4 and then try to drag and see. This should not bring any dark pixels. Now this pixel, I think I can take it up. Okay, I'll show you more ways also. Don't worry about it. If you feel this one is um, complicated, maybe some prefers this process also. So I'm just showing you that there are many ways to carry motion blur. We will learn different ways. One of them is this one. I'm getting a good decent smoothness on the edges, and I have to check for this point also. It doesn't look good much. Now it's better. Okay, so here we don't have to worry. So this apart, as I said, I didn't take it up because there are chances to have this dark background. So I got rid of it by keeping the motion blur least over there. Here I can just have a cross check. If I drag, will is it introducing? Yes. You see over there, anyhow, there is some sort of dark pixel, but seems to be okay to me. And see, there is no point of modifying much. All right, you already have good before and after, so we will not modify. If it looks good, don't touch it. Keep the consistency as it is. So we have decent frame now. So we got 2 frames done. And this way we have to do for all the 12, 13 frames, whatever it is. I think it is 14 frames, 1, 4. Okay, from 53, no, not 14, 53 to 53 to 71, 72. So it is 19 frames, all right? But shapes are only 2. So total I can say is 38 frames you have to do the rotoscopy. If I consider this as 1 and second is that one. Okay. So do you want one more frame to be done? I have done this time. See, in the first frame, I did only this part. I didn't bother much. But in this part, I have taken all the entire shape. If I go next, I will see what part I'm missing. Again, I have to deal precisely with the with these pixels. But more or less, You see, I'm missing this pixel. I have to clear that out. That can be taken easily, so that we can, work around. And these pixels also, I have to fix it. So when it is needed to move the, because it's a soft edge, if it is dark edge like this, then I have to move the main shape, but it is a soft edge, so I can move the motion, the feather points, and this way I can capture all the details. So these are the frames which I've done, and this will be the task for you. Shot is already there, and you have to rotoscope just the tip. I'm not giving 38 frames, I want 19 quality frames when we have the next class. So I will check the calendar. Before the next class, I should have all of your assignments of this thing. Okay, only this part. I'm not asking the middle one with the custom feather, with the custom feather. Okay, I kept the motion blur on, by the way. If I remind you, the motion blur is on. All right, so keeping motion blur on, you will already get some the soft edge. Okay, these are the pixel which you are getting in, but on top of that you can have there is one more thing, how to have the motion blur. It's not about just having a motion blur means switching it on here. There is one more option, same like if you remember in After Effects. In After Effects, if you remember, we have the motion blur of layer itself, and we have the motion blur of project itself. So we added the motion blur of object, but not the project. So for project, we have to go to node is project settings, motion blur. Now this one is not enabled, that's why we cannot see the motion blur at all, right? So if I enable, you can see, that it's taking good one, but I don't want you to use this option. This is pretty good. It's taking all of the motion blur, you see, isn't it good? It's taking already. But you will ask me, sir, why you have told us to take care of custom feather? Because sometimes some shots you need to have custom feather as well. So in those cases, try to, get the custom feather control first, but there is another option, all right, which we will learn later. We don't have to, focus on this. See, it's taking most of the information. If I hide it, see, without feather, there is no feather. The maximum of information, I have to just slightly move this point close so that I get rid of this black outline, but this is another option, all right? So that's why I said to have the motion blur, there are many options. One of them is custom feather. So I want your file not with this one, okay? I don't want this one. I just want have the habit of enabling the motion blur and work on with custom feather. All right, this is what I want to handle the motion blur by using control points. All right, so you drag and try to control them by your own. See, this is the way I want. Understood? Am I clear to all? I want custom feather of 19 frames before the next class. I will see when it's the schedule of the next class. You will get the EduCloud announcement. Short is already there with you. I want this tip of the finger from 52 to 72, 20 frames. So just give me say yes, and if any questions you can ask. We have 27 minutes left. If you have any questions regarding that or regarding assignment submission, do let me know. And remember, there are many techniques to have a control over feather, but I want you to have a control through custom feather. Okay, hope I'm clear with both methods. One is enabling motion blur in project settings, which is this, which is already giving us good amount of motion blur, but I don't want that. I want first the custom feather control. Okay, so I've received some of the confirmation from Naveen, Pavan, and Akshay. I want from all of you, and then I can wrap up the session. Okay, Gokul also said, Rushil also said. Okay, so last poll I will do. Before that, you guys can put the chat box by saying no question, no doubts. If you have question, feel free to ask question first, and then let's have a last poll round, and then we will finish it off. Right. let's do the one thing. Okay, so I have done. Is that something? One question asked by Nishan, sir. If I want to remove small shape inside the roto, how do we remove? Is that something like you want to subtract one shape from the another? Is the question? Okay. In the meanwhile, I'm just adding the poll. Okay, I'll share. Okay, Nishant, I'll update. 1 second now. So, guys, I'm just putting a question round here. This poll thing. Just feel free to put the genuine marks. Anyhow, I'm wondering you are giving the genuine feedback. Just keep letting me know. The more you give me the genuine feedback, I'll try to explain more or focus more on those parts. Okay, so give me the genuine feedback. I'm just going to put a question. Okay, it will help me out to where I can focus more into it. Let's launch it by poll and selecting the new poll. Okay, so guys, feel free to give the vote for that to make me understand that how much you are, what page you are in. All right, I need 9 votes, and by the time I'll fix the, I'll show the Nishan thing. So Nishant, in that case, you have to have one more shape and draw basically. All right, now it's already on add and it's drawn on top. You just go to blend mode and say subtract. Is the question? Did you understand if this was the question? Is it clear now? Okay, cool. Okay, from poll 43718. Superb, superb. So I got votes. Okay, no problem. It happens. Okay, so I got votes. I'm going to end the poll. So hope you guys figured out this is somewhat easy software than the After Effects for rotoscopy. I completely agree that we are not meeting each other. We are not having, interactive session as much as I can do while being in the classroom. But I'm trying my best so that you can understand and doing with the, you know, the slow pace so that you understand each bit of it. And if you just start working on this software, you will find it's pretty much easier. And rotoscopy is not a huge task which cannot be done. It's so easy, depends on the tools, depends on the technique, and one more important thing is your observation. All right, so it's all about practice. That's it, nothing new in that. It's not so complicated to understand this option, that option. Once you set up your shots correctly, then what you have to do is you have to move the shape according to it. That's all. Nothing as such is completely new. So what I'll do, I'll save this file. All right, and see you in the next class, and I will make an announcement uh, by checking up the schedule. When you have the next class, I'll make an announcement. I want this file of silhouette of 20 frames, all right, from 52 to 72 of the tip only. I'm not asking for the center and the end part. only this tip part with the custom feather. Remember, not motion blur. Motion blur, I know it's easy and it's good also, but I want to have the custom feather, because if you have some shots like where the only custom feather is working, then you will have trouble doing it. All right. So make sure you have a habit of having custom feather control. Then we will discuss about motion blur as well and discussing about its settings. But feel free to explore, but I don't want in your file to have the motion blur activated here. All right. It can be activated because I want you to have a habit of activating the motion blur here, but don't activate in the project setting. I don't want to see it in the shapes. I may ask you in the next other assignment, but not here. This is your first assignment for silhouette. All right. So you will see the update on your Google Sheet for assignment tracker, and you will see the EduCloud announcement also for respect to that. So you have good a number of time. Just you have to make a roto and take it out. All right. So I've received votes also. Need to practice. Of course, I completely agree. You have to practice, only then you can understand. One person is pretty much confident, superb, it's awesome, and then three people are saying somewhat okay. So I understand somewhat okay it can be, because again it's all about practice. All right, so I just saved this file. I'll continue from here, try to do it quickly. I mean, not finishing the shot, but I will, what I'll do is I'll just continue with this part only. I'll not show you next day suddenly the rotoscoped version. I'll continue with you guys, okay, and show you some more tools, but the more questions you will ask only when you will do it in the software. All right, so that's pretty much it for today's session. Hope you guys take advantage out of it to understand this one, and I'm again sharing the link of YouTube, so you can see the recording even after that. All right, so this is the link. Oops, I've shared it to only one person. It's shared to everyone now, so you can see it later as well. All right. So see you then. Take care, and have good entertainment, but also practice, and spend good time on the studies as well. So see you. I'm just going to end up the session. Okay. Okay, everyone. Bye bye. Devashi, Sushil, and Pavan. Bye, Nishan. Bye, Kokul. All right. See you.